Thanks very much, Bill, and good morning, everyone. It's good to be with you, and a pleasure to work with you all as we collectively deliver on our national mission to tackle child poverty. As Councillor Evison has said so eloquently, this is a partnership. And of course, our partnership with local government is particularly important, but as is our partnership with all of you and all of the third sector organisations. Government can't do this alone, and nor would we want to. And in making the change needed, what I heard a bit of Sahada's speech, hopefully we'll hear the rest of it later, but she made clear the need for us to ground our thinking in the reality of people's experiences, and that's really important. As a government, we have committed to bold new action to tackle child poverty and to aid our national recovery from COVID, which I'll speak to shortly. However, firstly, I want to reflect on our collective response to the pandemic. As we all know too well, the pandemic has been unparalleled in its disruption to our day-to-day lives. And of course, the most disadvantaged in our society have felt the strain most acutely. Although it's affected everyone, it hasn't affected everyone equally. But working together, we delivered new tailored support at a pace and scale that we would rarely have imagined 2 years ago. Working together between the public sector, the third sector, business and communities, producing inspiring locally based responses to the crisis that were vital to ensuring the safety and well-being of our communities. And really we want to keep that can-do attitude going as we move into recovery from COVID. There are challenges ahead too. COVID has not gone away, and we're also now seeing the effects of Brexit with rising prices, shortages, and a particular toll being faced by many industries. And of course, the UK government's harmful cut to the £20 universal credit uplift risks pushing 60,000 people across Scotland, including 20,000 children, into poverty and causing damage to tens of thousands more. And it's in this context that we have to work together to drive progress on child poverty. And that's why we've declared it a national mission, because working together we can deliver the change needed at a pace and scale required. And our recovery builds from the strong foundations of our work on child poverty. The Tackling Child Poverty Delivery Plan sets out the 3 drivers of poverty reduction which we need to influence: reducing household costs and increasing incomes through both social security and employment, enabling families to live healthy and fulfilling lives. It also underpins the importance of mitigating the negative impacts of poverty for children today, helping them to reach their full potential. And the plan makes clear those who we need to focus our efforts on most: the 6 priority family types, which are most likely to experience poverty and who so often face additional barriers to accessing services and employment, including discrimination and structural barriers. And this includes lone parent households, those with a disabled adult or child, and those from a Black and minority ethnic background. For us to tackle child poverty successfully together, we must ensure that our efforts support these families in particular, and we're giving a lot of focus and attention to how we might do that as we build our next child poverty delivery plan for next year. We've committed a wide-ranging action to help families, to support children to reach their full potential. We've committed a further £1 billion to tackle the poverty-related attainment gap, as well as delivering a package of new measures focused on reducing the cost of the school day. This includes commencing the rollout of universal free school meal provision for all primary school pupils, providing digital devices, removing the cost of school trips and core curriculum charges, and further increasing the value of school clothing grants, all of which are important in supporting families. And all of these measures are helping to ensure that low income is not a barrier to children learning and participating in school, which is essential if we're to tackle child poverty in a sustainable way in the longer term. Housing is also pivotal in our recovery and our child poverty targets. Since 2007, we've delivered over 103,000 affordable homes, and we've set a new ambition to deliver a further 110,000 energy efficient affordable homes by 2032, backed by a total investment package of £18 billion that will support up to 15,000 jobs each year. And at least 70% of these homes will be for social rent, and at least 10% will be located in our remote, rural and island communities. And of course, we're developing a housing action plan focused on remote, rural and island Scotland, backed by at least £45 million over the Parliament to ensure that we meet the needs of those communities. And not only that, we'll publish a new rented sector strategy to deliver a new deal for tenants, safeguarding them from unaffordable rent increases, and we'll also continue investment to tackle fuel poverty, which by the end of this year will reach over £1 billion since 2009, helping to ensure that families' energy costs are affordable. We're also strengthening the support available through the social security system, putting money directly into the pockets of families that need it and tackling child poverty head on. We're already delivering the new Scottish child payment for children under the age of 6, reaching up to 133,000 children this year alone. And together with our Best Start grant and Best Start Foods, it delivers over £5,300 of financial support by the time a family's first child turns 6 years old. And this support is already unparalleled across the UK. There's nothing like it anywhere else in these islands. And of course, we want to go further. So we've committed to double the value of the Scottish Child Payment to £20 each week as soon as we possibly can, lifting a further 20,000 children out of poverty. And we remain committed to delivering the payment for 6 to 15-year-olds by the end of 2022, subject to the data required being made available from the DWP. But working together with our partners in local government, we're delivering immediate support through the new bridging payments, providing £520 in both this year and next year to around 148,000 children and young people in receipt of free school meals. But more action is needed. We know that if we're going to get near and meet our interim child poverty targets, which is why we remain committed to delivering on the promise and have announced £500 million for a whole family wellbeing funds to ensure that families receive the right support at the right time. And we need to be far better at speaking directly to the families affected and maybe not always assuming that we have all the answers. So we need to wrap support around families that are struggling and listen to what they tell us about what they need. Childcare, we know, is an issue for many families, and we've announced our intention to further expand the funded early learning and childcare to develop a system of wraparound school-age childcare. And these services will not only be transformational for children, but of course provide the support needed for parents to access and progress in the labour market, safe in the knowledge that their children are receiving the high-quality care at a time that works for them. And to help parents to make that transition into work and to increase their earnings, we'll provide a further £15 million for our Parental Employability Support Fund in the next 2 years, in addition to our investment in Fair Start Scotland. And even with Employment Law Reserve, we're using our Fair Work policy to promote fairer work practices across the labour market in Scotland. And we've launched a new living hours accreditation scheme and continue to drive progress through our flagship Fair Work First approach and, of course, the living wage here in Scotland. As we rebuild from the pandemic, we have an opportunity to ground our recovery in changes that will create a more equal and inclusive society. Our COVID recovery strategy, which was published yesterday, is bold in its vision, and we're clear that we can't return to how things were before the pandemic. We want to work in partnership with local government, recognising the key leadership role that councils play in their communities and with others, many of who are attending this conference today. And our recovery has to recognise that different areas had different experiences in the pandemic, and also that the changes that we've already made, most notably in home working and digital services, open up new opportunities in some areas while creating new challenges in others. To help us guide us in these next steps, I'm pleased to announce that this week we published revised guidance for the Fairer Scotland duty, and this guidance reflects the learning and practice over the last 3 years and makes clear the importance of listening to those with lived experience. So in conclusion, just to say that our goals for tackling child poverty and creating a fairer, more equal Scotland through recovery from the pandemic are clear, and we're building on the work and the unprecedented action already taken to achieve them. And we'll publish the second Tackling Child Poverty Delivery Plan by the end of March, putting Scotland on a critical path to deliver on the interim child poverty targets. And this will set out further game-changing policies which will deliver the change needed. And I encourage you to engage with the ongoing consultation and contribute your insights and ideas, because we can't do this alone. And, it really is a Scottish child poverty delivery plan. It's not just, it can't just be the Scottish government's, and I think that was a point made well by Alison earlier on. We know the scale of the challenge that we collectively face, but by making this a national mission, we are concentrating our efforts and actions in this area. Working together, we can deliver the change needed. Our response to the pandemic demonstrates that we have the skills, the capacity and the will to achieve our shared ambition of eradicating child poverty and creating a more equal Scotland. So we do need to seize this opportunity to create the support, the services and the opportunities that people need in order to tackle child poverty. It's not just about creating doors for people, new doors, and maybe doors that lead to really, really good supports, but that's not enough, because for many families and many individuals, they have so much going on in their lives, so many pressures, that even finding the door is a hurdle too far. So we need to get alongside families and work with them to make sure that we can help them to get from where they are now to where they want to be. So thanks for listening, and I hope your conference goes well. Thank you.